So you're not on the road then. Are you home?
No, I'm not. We're on the road like pretty much every weekend, just home throughout the week. So,
Oh, that's good. That probably
yeah.
feels good.
Yes.
So do you look forward to going out on the road or do you look forward to coming home more?
I love going out on the road. I love getting to meet fans and travel, and especially summer shows are really fun for me and my team. Just getting to play outside and stuff is awesome. So,
Cool, cool.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad I was at K Love's. So I was backstage and I don't know if I as had a question or whatever, but as far as I know, this is the first time meeting you. But I followed you since your debut came out and all of the whirlwind year you've had here,
Hmm.
or a couple years. But I just think it's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
love the rising voice and the country part of it. That you're providing that different flavor. It's not
Mhm.
something that is does not necessarily a CCM radio sound, but country is so popular, and I love that people have that alternative, to listen to you.
Yeah, thank you. That's so
Yeah, and so just wanted to ask you, how does it feel since, My Jesus came out, uh, everything kind of rising and your life getting so busy? Just maybe describe in your own words what the last year or two have been like.
Yeah, it's been a really fun few years. I think just getting to watch my story unfold and growing up and learning a lot. I started when I was 19 with my Jesus and now I'm 22 and um I've written over like 300 songs now and just have grown so much since I first started, and I signed a record deal when I was 17. So it's been about 5 years and we've all kind of come a long way together, and me and my team. And it's been amazing. There's been a lot of um, challenges, as I think there is for every artist, in kind of learning how to manage your priorities and, being gone a lot on the road and how to prioritize your family and all of that. But I think just my favorite part has just been getting to connect with people and hear their stories on how my music has impacted their life. And at the end of the day, that's why I do what I do. So it's been really fun.
So you have the new album out, and the songs about whiskey is getting, a lot of attention. I admit that when I first got the preview, it was the first song that I checked out because I was like, okay, where is this going to go? And absolutely love it. I think it's so clever and cool because as somebody who I grew up listening to country really through my parents. And there's so much you can relate to, but then there's so much you can't relate to. So I love that you put it into words in that song. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah. Love the song as well. Thank you for the sweet words. I wrote that song and I remember just, I mean, it's just kind of a fun joke at first, just figuring out how do I write a song about whiskey, and then it came to be what it is. And I had so many people reach out to me and when I first released the track list of the album, and everybody was like, "What are you doing writing a song about whiskey? Like what's happened to Ann Wilson?" And then getting to see like their response after the song came out and after they heard the hook and everything was really, really cool. I think it talks about how, I mean, it kind of addresses this topic of going out into the world and sharing the gospel with people. Um, and that might look like going into a bar and sharing Jesus with people, but ultimately that's the goal for me in my music, is to share the gospel with the world. And so I think doing it in a way to target that audience of people, it's very country fun. It also shows a different personality of mine. I feel like a lot of my music can be serious and very emotional and deep and, well thought out lyrics, but this is just something so different and fun, and shows a different side to me as well. So it was a really fun song to get to create. And then the music video we filmed in a bar, and the music video was also really, really fun to get to put together and just explore a new part of my artistry and to be able to be creative in a different way than I had been before.
I wonder if maybe some of the attention you got for it is the fact that you've been so embraced with Christian music, and you've given voice to so many people, like your, Rebel and My Jesus and the songs that you've released, that if you, there may be like a little fear that, oh, they're gonna, she's gonna leave us behind. People are recognizing her outside of this industry, so they're gonna pull her away. But that's if anybody listens to your record, that's not the case, right? I mean, you're pretty evangelistic in your songs.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's been a concern for people just, in the past with different artists. I feel like sometimes an artist will get some success outside of Christian music and then leave. But for me, that's just genuinely not what I desire in what I do for a living. I want to spread the gospel. I want to always make it about Jesus. Um, I didn't use Christian music as a stepping stool to get to where I want to be. It's the foundation for all that I do, and I'll never leave it. And I do think this album, I mean, in some ways, I've had people tell me it's more faith-based than my last album in my boldness. I've had a lot of people tell me that when I perform at shows, like especially this year, that I'm talking more about the gospel than I ever have before at shows in the past. And so I feel like my boldness is definitely increased in just standing firm in who I am. And I mean, the whole album title Rebel is all about that, of who I am and what I believe in and the things that I'm convicted of in my life and the things I feel like I need to speak about. And so it's definitely not leaving Christian music, it's a lot more country than the last album, but it's like the heart of who I am is at the album for sure.
So tell me a little bit about Ann Wilson growing up. What did you listen to? I know, like you say, you're firmly established in Christian music, but obviously you have these great country influences. So tell me a little bit about when you're growing up, what pulled you into music and what your influences were.
Grew up on Christian and country music. I grew up listening to a lot of old country. Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton were two of my favorites. Um, Honestly, my parents always had Christian music on in the car, and my brother always had country music on in the car. So I really was raised on both, equal love for both types. I grew up in Kentucky, and so a lot of like my influences was really like bluegrass music too. I remember going to like festivals and fairs and stuff growing up, and like just there would be incredible bluegrass bands playing, line dancing and all that kind of fun stuff, just like all
Yeah.
being surrounded in those country roots. And so a lot of the songs on the album, like especially like Out of the Bluegrass and a couple other ones, have a lot of really Kentucky sounds, a lot of bluegrass sounds to them. And so that was really kind of cool to see that come out of like my childhood and the things that I loved growing up listening to. And I really feel like in this album, Rebel, all of that came out through the music and the production as well.
Point. You've sang
Yeah.
on the Grand Ole Opry a few times, probably.
Yeah.
How was that experience to sing on that,
Oh,
iconic
it's
stage?
amazing. I need to go back and count how many times I've been there. I know it's over 10 now, but I love the Opry. It's my favorite stage to play out of any venue. I debuted like 4 or 5 months after My Jesus came out and when I was 19, and that was crazy getting to debut at such a young age and it's such an early part of my career. Um, and it was amazing. But yeah, the Opry is really sentimental for me. My mom's mom, my mama, wanted to always be like a country famous star and singer, and loved the Opry. And so she never got to go because she never had the money to go to Nashville and go to the Opry. And she passed away a long time ago. And so it's just cool to be able to like go on that stage and think about her and think about how she, would have probably never dreamed that her granddaughter would be getting to play on that stage and getting to
Right.
step into that circle. And so that's been really sweet for our family. Every time I play the Opry, that's what I think about. And but yeah, the artists that have come on that stage, it's crazy how many incredible artists
Yeah.
have walked on that stage. So
Back in the day, Gospel Music Week, used to happen, and they would have a lot of concerts at the Ryman. And every time I was at the Ryman, I was like, oh, this is just, it just feels like home.
yeah.
And my experience with country is I didn't really, I listened to pop growing up and pop and rock, but every time I was in the car with my parents, it was all old school country. So now that my parents are gone, when I listen to it, it just gives me those good feels, like
Mhm.
I appreciate it now, whereas I may not have appreciated it. It wasn't cool back then, like Barbara Mandrell, country when country wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, I appreciate it. I love it. Your music is great too.
Thank you.
I just think it's really cool that, your music is getting played alongside a lot of these other artists, and you're pointing people back to the Lord. So,
Thank you.
is
That
there
means
anything
a
else
lot
you
to
wanted
me.
to maybe add about the album?
Um, I mean, yeah, I think the just the heart behind the album, Rebel, and creating it was a really incredible experience for me just because I I felt free this time around versus the last album felt like I was in this box. And I
Right.
think that's what I loved about getting to partner with Universal Nashville and having the chance to like put a song to country radio was that I felt like I got to explore a part of my creativity I'd never been able to before. Like just getting to not be in a box of Christian or country, just getting to write the songs that I wanted to write and be who I am,
Yeah.
was really freeing for me. So I really enjoyed every process of, or every moment of it, of the process. Um, and then just the heart behind, being bold in my faith and standing up for what I believe in and not letting, country music change me or Christian music change me or me having to change myself to fit those two genres, but just me being authentically who I am and letting my music kind of fit where it needs to fit. So, um, yeah, I mean, the album was it was a really fun one to make. And I'm really proud of the songs that we created. So,
Were you a church kid? Were you always like in church? Did you grow up that way?
yeah, yeah, my whole
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much, Anne.
You're
It's been
welcome.
a pleasure. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you. Good to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Bye.